up, y'all? Just wanted to hop on here real quick. I'm doing something different for a second. I'm going to do a 30-day challenge where I answer one question a day for 30 days. The reason that I'm doing this is I think it will help. It'll help me with some of my content creation. I think it'll help y'all have a little bit better perspective on how busy our life is and running the business and the podcast and firefighter life, whatever. So for 30 days, I'm going to answer one question a day. My goal is to live stream them. It's just going to be quick, asking the question, answering the question, so on and so forth. So, but you can catch us on Facebook, YouTube, and X. And also, if you have the Riverside app, I can post that link too if we want. But yeah, I'm going to answer one question a day for 30 days. Just a fun little challenge. And I can generate questions for myself. But I think it'd be more fun if y'all ask the question. So if you want to ask a question for me to answer, you can drop it down in the comments, or you can direct message me if you don't feel comfortable asking the question for the public to see. I'm not going to name any names or say who asked each question every day, but I think it would be a lot of fun if y'all were involved. So with that being said, today is day one, so I have the first question. And the first question is, how do you alliance the firehouse, business, and podcast? So the best way for me to answer this, and assuming I understand the context of the question, the best way that I form an alliance between those three things is I try to include them amongst each other. So, for example, if we go by the podcast, the way that I alliance the podcast and my business is my business sponsors the podcast. So, in the beginning of every episode, I mention the business. I try to tell the guests about the business when, before or after the show, and just try to reference that as much as I can to try to drive traffic to the business. Also, since this is live, if you hop in the chat, I'll say hello or whatever. But and then as far as the firehouse with the podcast, I try to mention to the guys or whoever I'm around, check out the podcast and share it with somebody if you think they'll like it, whatever. Just like I do the business. So that's how I try to align those two things with the podcast. As far as the business, the business completely sponsors or has completely paid for the business. The business has completely paid for the podcast. I haven't had to spend a dime of my own money. And I built all of this, paid for these nice microphones and all that, completely out of the business, account. So that's how I alliance that from the other side of it. And then as far as the firehouse and the business, it's kind of the same thing as the podcast. I'm constantly telling people, about the business, and I like to listen in on conversations and hear what people like and what kind of stuff they like to wear, what kind of designs they like, stuff like that. So just constantly involving, the business. And if I hear that somebody's looking for something, I'll try to mention that, I can do that, or try to figure out how I can help them in some way. And then as far as the firehouse, it's really kind of the same as what I've been saying. Just, promoting the business, promoting the podcast, and then also just, like I said, listening. So as far as the business is concerned, like I said, listening to what kind of stuff people like. As firemen, we like heavy duty, durable, high quality apparel. That's why I go for Carhartt. That's why I go for Richardson, because those are products that people are going to want to wear. They know the brand name already, and they're going to last. They're going to hold up. We have a blue collar job. It's rugged. It's hard on shit. And I don't even know if I can say that when I'm live, but we're hard on stuff. So listening to people, seeing the apparel that we have and how it holds up, and implementing that into my business so I can provide the best product possible. And then as far as the podcast, some of the conversations that we have are exactly what I'm trying to emulate in the podcast. It's called the Engine House. It's called the Engine House. So I'm trying to, bring real conversations, real topics, relatable content to the podcast. And a lot of that is derived from the Firehouse. So it's just, it all plays into each other. Like I said, the business sponsors the podcast promotes the business, and I promote both of those things when I'm in the Firehouse. And also, a lot of ideas for the business and the podcast come from being in the Firehouse. So that's how I would say I alliance the three of those things. But I hope that answers that question. Hopefully y'all are, on board with this. Hopefully y'all can help me generate some questions. This should post as an actual video after the live ends. It's not going to be super long. It's going to be 5-10 minutes at the most. I'm not putting a whole production together here like I would the podcast. So, and I don't know if you noticed the goofy looking thumbnail, but I'm basically just typing in ChatGPT, give me a thumbnail. This is the question, and see what kind of goofy stuff it comes up with. So I guess I'll catch you all tomorrow. And if you have a question you want to ask me or you want me to answer, then, like I said, drop it in the comments. Direct message me. I'm open to pretty much anything. It can be business related, podcast related, work related, personal question, whatever you want. I'll do my best to answer it. So I will see y'all tomorrow.